Hello students, welcome to रयत शिक्षण संस्था's रयत ऑनलाइन स्कूल एजुकेशन रोज प्रोजेक्ट 2021-22. I am Mrs. Patil SA from Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karaj. My subject is English. Let me see section 4 drama. 4.3 A Midsummer Night's Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream is written by William Shakespeare. Students, in the previous lecture, we have seen the information about the playwright, the theme of the drama, the characters in the drama, and plot in the drama. Now, we are going to see some activities of brainstorming and questions and answers. Let me see first brainstorming activities. First activity, match the column A with column B. Students, in the A column, the names of the characters are given, and in the column B, the descriptions are given of the character. Let me see the answers of the A and B column. The first character is Theseus. Theseus is a Duke of Athens. Titania is Queen of Fairies. Third, Puck. Puck is Robin Goodfellow. Hippolyta. Hippolyta is Queen of Amazons. And next, Cobweb and Moth are fairies. Second question. State whether the following statements are true or false. First statement. Lysander and Demetrius fall in love with Helena as a result of the love potion. The statement is true. Second statement. Oberon transforms Bottom's head into that of an ass. The statement is false. Third statement. Titania falls in love with an ass. The statement is true. Next statement. Both Demetrius and Lysander fight for Hermia. The statement is false. Let us see some questions and answers based on the drama A Midsummer Night's Dream. Question first. Draw a character sketch of Oberon as an enemy of his wife but a friend of the lovers. Answer of the question. First, Oberon is the king of the magical land of the fairies. He is an authoritative figure who wants all his subjects to obey him. According to him, no one else in the entire realm holds more power than him. When he sees his wife Titania being affectionate towards the Indian boy whom she is raising, he becomes jealous and wants Titania to give up the boy so that he can make the boy his servant. Titania's refusal to give up the boy leads to a fight between her and Oberon, which results into the confusion that forms a major part. Oberon is seen wondering about the outcome of the plan he had devised of pouring a love potion on his wife's eyelids so that she falls in love with the first person she sees and he can take the Indian boy away from her. Even the fact that she falls in love with a donkey headed man does not discourage him. Rather, he finds it amusing. This shows Oberon's vengeful side as he is not willing to spare even his wife when she disobeys him. His need to assert his power makes him instruct Puck to get to the love potion so that he can teach his wife lesson. However, in the end, he removes Titania from under the spell, but by then he has already taken the Indian boy from her. Though Oberon is unkind towards his wife, he also has a kind and loving side, which can be seen when he witnesses Demetrius' cold behavior towards Helena in the forest. Unhappy about the way Helena is being treated by Demetrius, he decides to make Demetrius fall in love with Helena. He wants Helena's love to be requited, which makes his character a stark opposite of how it seemed to the audience so far. Even when Oberon realizes that Puck has made an error and poured the potion on the wrong man, he decides to set everything right. The actions taken by him to ensure that the true lovers end up together prove that he is a romantic who wants love to triumph above all else. Oberon's actions throughout the play make him a complex character who cannot be categorized as simply good or evil. Second question. A Midsummer Night's Dream is one of the best examples of Shakespeare's comedy of errors. Comment. Answer of the question. Comedy of errors refers to a series of ridiculous events that are a result of either mistaken identities or the mistakes made by foolish people. William Shakespeare is known for his witty writing that skillfully combines all the elements of comedy. The play A Midsummer Night's Dream is no exception to this. Act third of this play focuses on Puck mistaking Demetrius for Lysander and pouring the love potion on him instead of Demetrius. This instance of mistaken identity is a comedy of error as it creates trouble for all four humans in the woods Lysander, Demetrius, Helena, and Hermia. The second comedy of error is the Queen of Fairies, Titania, falling in love with an ass bottom. As Puck had transformed Bottom's head into that of an ass. It was absurd that the Queen of Fairies fell in love with him. This, however, happened when Titania was under the influence of the love potion that Oberon had poured on her to teach her a lesson. Puck's erroneous judgment, Lysander's declaration of love to Helena, and his rejection of his true love, Hermia, Demetrius' claim of being in love with Helena, Helena's assumption that both the men are trying to mock her, her accusation on Hermia, and Hermia's misinterpretation that Helena stole Lysander from her, the fight between Lysander and Demetrius, as well as that between Helena and Hermia. The workmen being scared after looking at Bottom because he had a donkey's head, and Titania falling in love with Bottom are a result of the comedy of errors that are caused due to Oberon's and Puck's interference, thus making A Midsummer Night's Dream a comedy of errors. Question 3. The characters are a part of the stage setting. How does this reflect when the characters of the play range from the Duke and the Indian boy to the fairies? Answer of the question. The play Midsummer Night's Dream revolves around Athens, a city in ancient Greece. The Duke's palace inside the walls of the city and the woods outside the walls of Athens are the two major backdrops. The city of Athens, along with the Duke's palace, symbolize law and order, whereas the woods outside Athens is the magical and the dreamlike land of the fairies, which represents lawlessness and chaos, as Athens is governed by rules and regulations. The Duke is obligated to enforce the law and instruct Hermia to marry Demetrius. Hermia chooses to elope with Lysander into the woods, so as to escape from the laws that bind her to marry a man of her father's choice. The woods, for her, represent freedom from the law. The drama unfolds in the woods, where King of the Fairies, Oberon, meddles into the lives of the four lovers and causes chaos in the process. The mystical qualities of the land and the mischievous aura of the setting is aptly conveyed through Oberon's and Puck's schemes, their uses of the magical love potion and the comical transformation of Bottom. Oberon's desire to have the Indian boy in his custody drives him into a jealous rage, where he decides to teach the queen of the fairies, his wife Titania, a lesson. After she refuses to give up the boy, the Indian boy represents the power struggle between Oberon and Titania. Though the Indian boy never appears on the scene, the land where he was born is mentioned in Act 2. As Titania and Oberon argue over the custody of the Indian boy, Titania tells Oberon how the boy belongs to her, as the boy's mother was one of her devotees from India, and how she used to spend time with this friend looking at the ships that sailed into the harbor. Towards the end of the play, Aegeus, Theseus, and Hippolyta venture into the woods to search for the lovers, and as if influenced by the magical lunch. Theseus sees how Demetrius is happy with Helena and allows Hermia to marry Lysander. The presence of the Duke in the woods does bring some order to its chaos. Order is finally restored when the lovers return to the lawful world of Athens with Theseus, Hippolyta, and Aegeus. Thus, the characters form a part of the stage setting and change as the setting changes. The setting is therefore versatile and apt as it perfectly complements the mood of the characters and happenings of the play. Question 4. Comment on the loving pair of Lysander and Helena from the point of view of developing their character sketch. Answer of the question. Lysander and Helena have been called a loving pair sarcastically, as neither of the two are actually in love with the other. Lysander declares that he loves Helena because he is under the spell of the potion, which makes Helena think that Lysander is mocking her. However, the fact that Lysander, under the influence of the potion, tells Helena that he loves her does aid in the development of the character sketch of both Helena and Lysander. As Lysander tries to convince Helena that he loves her, Hermia enters the scene. This is where Helena's betrayal is brought to light. She tells Hermia that she has always kept all of Hermia's secrets except one. She told Demetrius about Hermia's plan to escape, which caused Demetrius to follow Hermia into the woods and led Helena to follow Demetrius. Thus, Lysander's declaration of love for Helena leads to the rift between Hermia and Helena and brings out Helena's desperation for Demetrius' love through Helena's betrayal. On the other hand, Lysander, who was in love with Hermia, has now rejected her completely as he is under the spell of the potion. Lysander was deeply in love with Hermia, but the effect of the love potion was so strong that it made him hate Hermia just as much as he loved her before. His insults towards Hermia tells us about the strength of his feelings of love for Hermia before the love potion had been poured on his eyelids. This intensity of love was transformed into the intensity of hatred towards Hermia. However, even under the spell of the potion, he does not wish to harm Hermia. Thus, the character of Lysander truly embodies a lover who would have stayed true to his betrothed Hermia if a spell hadn't been cast on him. Hence, it is clear that the ironic pairing of Helena and Lysander highlights the fact that the characters would choose true love above everything else. Next question. There were some reasons why Theseus was initially against but later gave consent for the marriage of Hermia and Lysander. Explain the answer of the question. According to the ancient law of Athens, it was mandatory for a girl to marry the man that her father would choose for her. Therefore, when Aegeus brought his daughter Hermia before Duke Theseus, Hermia was reminded of the ancient Athenian law and asked to marry the man of her father's choice. However, when Hermia refused to obey this law, Theseus gave her three options. One was to marry Demetrius, the man chosen by Aegeus for her. The second was to become a nun, and the third was to suffer a death sentence. Unwilling to choose from the three options, Hermia elopes with Lysander, the man she loves. Towards the end of the play, when Theseus sees the love between Helena and Demetrius, he decides not to make Hermia choose from the three options that he had initially given her. Instead, he allows Hermia to marry Lysander. Thus, we have completed the drama A Midsummer Night's Dream. Thank you.